What's up, guys? This is Dan with Next Level. Today we're talking about avalanches, when seconds count and there's a heartbeat under the snow. Are you ready? All right, guys, so every year we end up with some unstable snowpack. It's mid-January, we've already had some avalanche deaths on the season, and we need to concentrate on the things that we're gonna talk about today, and that's our forecast, understanding the snowpack and its condition, at what aspect, at what elevation. All of those things play a role, and they're things that I look at every single morning before I ride. All right, so every morning, guys, sort of a ritual for us to check the morning forecast. On our smartphones, we've even got an app. So I can go to this app and you can tell that I've already loaded the app this morning. It's pinpointed right here in Alpine, and it's giving us a general avalanche advisory for the area that we're gonna be riding in it. You can go a step further, and in my area, the Bridger Teton National Forest Nowcast, this is emailed to my smartphone. We can look at it on a laptop. We've got it pulled up on the big screen for all my clientele. But at about 6:45 this morning, it's giving us a relatively detailed forecast for our day. All things with the forecast, guys, it's showing if there was any new snowfall. It's also showing if there was any precip, so any rain or moisture in that snowfall. It's giving us total snow depth, total snowfall, mountain weather forecast for the day. It's giving us a temperature, so we would know how to dress. It's giving us ridgetop winds at 10,000. It's showing us where the wind has come from, and it's also giving us an expected snowfall within the next 24 hours. The next big one is our avalanche danger advisory. As you can see from here, everything above 7,500 feet all the way to 10.5 is showing a considerable avalanche advisory. Everything below that is still sitting at moderate. The avalanche problems for the day, and this is a big one because it's not going anywhere. When we have a persistent slab problem, you can tell that's right here, guys, this aspect rose. This outer ring is about 6,000 feet, and that inner ring is about 10.5. So they're showing right here that we have a persistent slab problem at every elevation, at every aspect. The characteristics of it are saying that there is a likelihood of an avalanche. It's likely. The size is large to small, and the trend, and this is a scary one, as it is increasing, meaning that this persistent slab at all elevations and all aspects is increasing, and we need to be made aware of that. All right, so we've checked the forecast. That kind of gives us an idea of where we're going to go today. It allows me, gives me an idea of what I'm going to wear. I'm wearing the new Climb Ripsaw, but it means that I'm going to have to layer inside of there. So based on the winds, based on the temperature, especially that temperature later in the day, it's allowing me to sort of plan for the worst as I'm out there. But in terms of our avalanche equipment, guys, right out of the gate, just check the forecast. Now I'm going to check my power, my battery life on my avalanche transceiver. So I've got an Ortovox 3 Plus. This is going to run its mode, letting me know everything is working properly. And this next big number is going to be my battery life. And it's showing 96%. Somewhere around 60% is when I'd want to change out the batteries. And you guys remember, we're going to use alkaline batteries in our transceivers, not lithium. And it's also important and good practice to stow some of those batteries with you. So now that I know my battery life, I can tell that my transceiver is sending and it's doing everything properly. I can go ahead and stow that, put it back into the holster where it needs to go. With our airbag, we've got the new Climb Atlas bag here. We talked about this in an earlier video, you guys. Remember with the red tabs, I can go to these red tabs and I've got my necessary avalanche equipment. So I've got my probes and my shovel. I get asked all the time if it's okay to have an avalanche shovel in a tunnel bag or somewhere other than your backpack, and I'm completely fine with that as long as it's a secondary shovel. I want my avalanche shovel and my probe in my backpack worn on my person at all times, because we may not be anywhere near our sled in the event of an avalanche. So as we're talking about the avalanche airbag, remember you guys that this is not a halo over our helmets. It's not an excuse that we can go and make all of these uncalculated decisions. We have this individual avalanche rescue device, so we can go and we can cross-cut open slopes, and we can just afford to go out there and be silly or be an idiot when it comes to the avalanche conditions that we're riding in. Remember that every day that I put my backpack on, I'm also, because this is a new capacitor electric system, I want to make sure that it's charged properly, just like I would with my transceiver, just like I would with my BCA radio. These are all things that I don't want to assume, so as I get out there and now I don't have any battery life, I can't communicate with somebody, and worst case, I don't have batteries for my transceiver. All right, so I've checked my battery life of my transceiver, my radio's charged, the backpack is turned on and it's charged, giving us all green lights. I get asked quite often about this strap right here. Remember guys that our crotch strap, as I wear it here, and I wanna thread this through my waist buckle, you guys remember that in the event of an avalanche, I pull my airbag, the airbag is up here, let's say I live through the avalanche, I'm above the snow, but my airbag with my strap going across here, you can tell what's happening. It's going to pull up here. If I don't have this strap connected, I could very easily be choked out. And imagine that. You're above the snow, but you're being choked by your own avalanche bag. So wearing the crotch strap is really important. So I'm also getting asked why the T-handle or your pull handle of your avalanche bag on which side of the backpack. With the Atlas bag, it already came on the right-hand side. And I think the idea there, right, is if I'm in an avalanche and I'm still able to ride my snowmobile, I can stay with my throttle, reach up with my left hand to deploy the bag. It means that you've got to train your brain to remember to do this, right? And then I also train my brain that I either go straight up to key my mic, but the important part of that is just the understanding that I'm going to stay with my throttle to pull my avalanche bag. All right guys, so we're nearly ready. We're getting our sleds outfitted. We're almost ready to get into the backcountry. Remember that when you're riding with a group, it's really important to do a quick beacon check. So we've checked its battery life, but now I want to open this up, go into search mode, and be the guy that announces out, guys, I'm going to go into search, and you go around the ring, and you're just making sure that the people that you're riding with are actually turned on and their transceivers are working properly. Another great way to check that your transceiver is working properly is with a beacon check station. And new for this season, up on the Grays River Trailhead, you can simply drive by, go slow, you even stop. If your transceiver isn't working, it's gonna give you an LED red X, and it's gonna sit there and flash an X. If your transceiver is on and in send mode and working properly, it'll give you an LED green circle, flashing circle, letting you know, and the rest of your group know, that your transceiver is working properly.
All right guys, so for everybody that's saying to themselves, I don't need this avalanche equipment nor the training, guys, we're on a Forest Service groomed trail. We've got our poles, they run double ups up here, no equipment, no none of that. And look at this guys, just a few days ago we had an avalanche come completely across the trail. And what you have to think about is, where are we in the terrain? Where the mass is going to end up. We've got a creek on this side. There's very little room or run out for this avalanche to come down. So I'm down here unprepared, no equipment. That's a complete myth. Wear the equipment, get the gear, and know how to use it. So if you guys have been to Next Level, you remember me talking about Mother Nature's clue each and every day that we ride. Well, check it out. From our forecast this morning, we had wind, red flag. We had snowfall, red flag. Evidence of natural or human-triggered avalanches occurring. We're riding in avalanche terrain. We have temperature gradient, and it's only a matter of time before we start hearing whooping in the snowpack. Those 5 red flags, every single day we ride, are going to help us elevate our avalanche awareness for the day.
So guys, it's really important once you're in the backcountry to do a lot of sort of observing of the snowpack. You know, we talked earlier about the forecast and how that's important and sort of sets the tone for where you're going to ride. But we self-forecast every time we're out riding. You know, we're leaving it up to the scientists of the snow to give us sort of that general avalanche advisory. But once we're out here, and you can tell, things changed a bunch. We're well up over 9,000 feet. The wind is blowing. We can kind of tell that it's blowing westerly. Likely that we're going to have a lot of wind-loaded condition, especially on those lee slopes. So obviously those slopes to this side of the mountain. So as we pay attention to even the hillsides that we're on, we know we've got wind-loaded areas that are here. These would be the ones that we'd want to watch out for while we're riding. Remember, unlike what a skier or a snowboarder is going to do, those guys will go up and they're going to boot pack up to an area. If they want to test the stability of the snowpack, oftentimes they'll dig a snow pit, they'll do a column test, and that particular aspect at that elevation, they'll determine whether or not it's safe to ski. Remember, as a snowmobiler, we're likely to do 50 or 60 of those different aspects in a day, and especially if it's a good one. Let's go burn a tank of fuel. So the idea behind it is very smart. The likelihood of a snowmobiler going out and digging pits on all types of different aspects at all types of different elevations is pretty slim. So what we have to do is we have to self-forecast, and we have to sort of weigh what our risks are, and that's risks for you as well as your group. So one way that we can stay safe is we can pay attention to, if there were areas that we're gonna slide, what does the run out zone look like? Is it a terrain trap? Is it open? Does it go down into the trees? All of those different things. When you look at percentages of fatalities where guys that were wearing airbags that deployed them, they still ended up dying because of trauma. Those are situations where quite easily they were caught in an avalanche, maybe stayed above the snow, but they went down and was littered with trees or other debris and things that they could collide with. So it's very important that you're paying attention as you're riding. And if you're the group leader, you have to be watchful not only of what's in front of you, but watching for your fellow rider behind you. Your communication is key. You can see the BC Link radio, having communication within your group and being able to be that voice of calm or that voice of reason to say, hey, let's go around this area, or if we're going up into this terrain, let's pick a safe way to go into it instead of straight up it or straight across it. Yeah, certainly, guys, when we're talking about getting in an avalanche, it is way better to have 5 guys looking for 1 guy versus 1 guy looking for 5. So we're trying our best to not load slopes. Once again, your communication when you're going across the hill. If I'm going to cut across the hill and I'm the group leader, I'm going to announce to the group, hey, I'm going to go across. You guys keep eyes on me. Once I'm across, I'll look back and watch the slope, watch the person coming across, so on and so forth. It's a great way for us to navigate through the backcountry and stay safe. All of the equipment in the world, all of this stuff that I'm talking about, we talked about in the shop. We're going to show detailed video of how to use your transceiver, making sure that you put batteries in it, making sure that my radio's charged, learning how to use my avalanche pack. If we don't practice with our equipment and we just have it on us, it's really not going to do us any good, especially when it counts. Can you imagine that the first time that you practice with your probes is when you have a heartbeat under the snow? Those seconds count, and that's certainly not the time that I'm going to be pulling those things out, those necessary life-saving tools, and using them for the first time. So we've got to practice. All right, guys, to finish up this video today, let's remember that depending on where you're at, depending on whether you ride in the Rocky Mountains, you ride on the West Coast, you ride in the Gaspé Peninsula, all my guys from the Chickasaws, you ride up in Canada, Alaska, Japan, wherever you ride, guys, it's really important to just understand your snowpack. Based on your snowpack, that's how we can sort of strategize where we're going to ride and sort of that terrain management. I would also recommend that you guys take a level 1 avalanche course. The Canadians, you guys have been killing it. You guys are who we are trying to mimic each and every year. You guys have been on it, especially with motorized curriculum avalanche classes that pertain to snowmobiling because it is different. So I recommend doing that, and I'm really pumped that Canadians have been doing this for a long time, and we're learning from you guys. Everybody in the States, it's time to get with it. We've already had some avalanche fatalities on the year. It's time for us to get out there, use this equipment. So different from just being a part of a dealership sort of function where you're kind of getting some know-how and you're utilizing the equipment. Remember to get out in the backcountry, utilize this equipment with your riding group so that your riding group knows what to do, because remember that I can have all of the equipment in the world and be buried in an avalanche, and it doesn't really matter how much practice or knowledge I have. It's up to my group at that point to rescue me.
So there you have it, you guys. Hopefully this video shows you guys the importance of knowing your weather and your forecast, knowing your avalanche equipment, and having a plan. Remember, take a certified level 1 avalanche course. Know before you go. You guys remember, thank you so much for all your subscriptions. Leave your questions and your comments below. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.